Alright, this is the beginning of Introduction to Computer Networks for the spring semester 2021. The course this semester is going to be running in a hybrid mode, meaning that the lecture videos will be available online and Polly is going to be also teaching, in class physically. So it's more a hybrid model, not just the online, right? And this is also to respect the guidance from NTU as well as Ministry of Education, so that we provide maximum flexibility to both domestic and international students. And this slide is just to make sure that you are in the right place. Introduction to Computer Networks in Mandarin Chinese is 电脑网络导论. Poly is also known as 黄宝仪 in Mandarin. Okay, so make sure that you're in the right classroom or watching the right video. Now, before we start with the class admins, allow Polly to communicate the philosophy behind the course's design. And to be honest, this is a course that's a little experimental and sponsored by the Ministry of Education. And it's quite different from the other courses offered in NTU, which are more lecture, homework, lecture, homework, lecture, exam, and then the cycle repeats itself. The course is designed to actually allocate a lot more time to promote these interaction. Not just interaction between you guys and me, but also interactions among yourselves. Okay, think of you guys and Polly, all of us, as peers. Okay, Polly, although a professor, seemingly knowing a lot of things in her specialty, but you see, we are not perfect. Okay, Polly particularly is a person of really bad memory, so I can quickly forget things that I just said. Feel free to correct Polly. Okay, so let's interact a lot more as peers. Another thing we want to promote is problem solving. Problem solving in terms of independent problem solving as well as team solving. Okay, so this is so that you guys get trained as well, so that you are a little bit more ready by the time you graduate from college. And because hey, we are all slightly different in personality, some of you are more loners, so it's okay. If you have already experienced looking things up on the web or through library, if you are already used to reading a lot of material that are a little bit fragmented and you know how to organize things and then, somehow immerse yourself in it and form your own system in the brain, feel free to exercise that more. And those who prefer to have friends working with you and try to brainstorm for solutions, feel free to form a team and work towards solving problems you see in this course. Now, for those who are not familiar with problem solving, so coming up with your own solution for a problem instead of people telling you what the solutions are, and so you kind of repeat thinking that, hey, this is what the answer is being expected. So it's not like that. It's more, given the open problem, how you come up with your solution and justify for your solution. If you're not very used to that, depending on your personality, exercise either in team format or on your own to try to solve problem. Third is tolerance, particularly tolerance to different perspectives. And I'm not quite sure how many times I have to say this. We are all very different, but that doesn't mean that different opinions are useless. You see, competitors are not necessarily enemies. The fact is that throughout Polly's life, I've seen, oftentimes I also learn from my competitors. So see if you can learn things that you are not used to, and surprise that seems seemingly effective. All right, so tolerance to perspective. In this course, the solutions, opinions, whatever you have in mind, feel free to speak up and make sure that you have reasons to back your opinions up. Okay, and those who are sitting in the class listening to it, try to be respectful. And also think whether you can also learn from people having very different ideas. And therefore you see, because of the things we want to promote, you can expect that we have a lot more conversations in the lectures as opposed to other courses. So there'll be lectures, but there'll be also pop-up quizzes to try to strike conversations. Maybe between you guys, maybe between you and Polly. Okay. And because of the nature and because of time constraint, we don't have that much space. Okay. So I cannot be taking too many students, unfortunately. Now this slide is to tell how we're going to run the course in a nutshell. Okay. We decide to do it in a way that physical interaction is optional, and this is due to COVID-19. So the lectures and the pop-up quizzes, these will happen concurrently. Okay, excuse me. Physically in the lecture room, which is ep1 101, as well as YouTube Live, okay, over the internet. Now, we might not have that much time to go over the quizzes, allowing all of the teams to speak up for their solutions. So some of those will go off, as well as all the other Q&As will go off to Slack, the collaborative workspace that we'll be using. So previous years, Polly has been using Facebook's. Facebook is a little bit limited, okay, in terms of trying to organize things. But Slack here, Polly has been using it for a while. It has been working quite well for me. So let's try using Slack this year in place of Facebook. You'll be learning a new tool as well, but I think that it will be interesting for you guys as well to explore this option. Exams will all be in Google Forms, which is also online. So students attending physically will need to bring your laptop and work on the Google Forms here in the lecture room. Remote students, as long as you have your laptop there and have a camera facing your face, this area here, so that we can record, okay, during the exam, then you're also fine. Okay, so that's the format. The course is in English, of course. As you follow it so far, you see that the lectures are going to be in English. Homeworks given by Polly in English, solutions, okay, as your sort of homework assignment submission will also be in English. Exams given in English, answers also in English. In class, off-class interactions all be English. Okay, there's just one exception. During these live sessions or right here in the lecture, if you find that you're really short of words and couldn't think of the term, feel free to fall back to Chinese. And classmates, guys, try to be helpful, okay? Help each other out, translate, okay? Now, just be careful, okay? For the assignments you turn in, exam solutions you turn in, it needs to be in English, and it needs to be in English that's comprehensible. A couple rules of thumb, okay? Keep your words or sentences very simple, okay? And the point, keep in mind, the point is to communicate, okay? You don't need to try to sound like, elegant, sophisticated, no, okay? Feel free to be you, feel free to be naive. I don't think really any opinions is naive or any saying is really naive. So, keep things simple, okay? Some of you are probably here looking to add the course. Yeah, due to the hybrid model, even though that we cannot sit all of you in the lecture rooms, if you don't mind attending lectures from time to time remotely, yes, we are allowed to take in more students, okay? and it'll be on a first come first serve base and by email. So this is to prevent a chaos in front of the podium here, all right? So send me an email, okay? And I'm gonna sort you by the time your email arrives to my inbox and until that I cannot send echo anymore, all right? In the email, state your name, department year. Oh, by the way, also your student ID. And that's it. Okay. Of course, you ask that you want to attend Introduction to Computer Networks. All right. One thing that I have to communicate before we go on to tell more about the course is this. Poly is not nice. Okay. Poly is not nice particularly in giving out the credits. Okay. You see, credits are earned because you work on it. All right. And poly is not nice here because poly cannot be nice, okay, giving out credits. Because if I give you credits for work that you did not do, then think about it. Poly will not be nice to other students in the class. Okay. So whether you earn the credits or not, it has nothing to do with whether the instructor is generous or not. It really has something to do with whether it's going to be fair, okay, among all of you. All right, so that is why poly is not nice, and poly cannot be nice here. Poly cannot be nice because poly needs to be nice to all of you. So this is to show poly does fail students, okay? Look. Okay, and I hope that in the meantime I did not scare all of you. But you see also, most of the students, if they do their job, if you try to fulfill your responsibilities, do your homework, come to the exams, you will do reasonably well. Okay. But you do see that the average change from year to year. I have no idea why. I guess that there will always be years where students do better and where years students do a little bit less. Okay. But Poly tries to hold the grading policy the same also throughout the years. So you guys are compared to each other as well as to students in the previous years. Okay. Now, a few cautions because there are some changes this year to previous years. So for example, the Sake programming assignment, it's going to be in a very different language called Golang. The quiz set, okay, it's actually adapted for the lecturing format, the hybrid format, because we have remote attendance so that we cannot be very, very interactive. Okay. Exams all on Google Form. There will be very long exams designed such that it's not really to test your memory, but more to test whether you critically think enough, okay, of the mechanisms that we are studying. Okay. And please bear with us, especially those who are attending remotely. The video quality that you're seeing depends on the stability of the internet. And going through YouTube Live means also that it's not perfectly real time. So you will feel that you are a little bit left out. But try to adapt to it. You might learn a way into how to interact afterwards. And the videos are going to be also on the YouTube, not in addition to the YouTube Live lectures. Okay, so these shorter video units will be easier for you to catch up as well. Now, why Go? So this is a table that I downloaded from the web from a developers forum. Okay, so some of these developers contributing develop code for google.com, for youtube.com, for many of the .coms. Okay, so what I'm showing here are the popular websites. And the programming languages being used for these popular websites, particularly at the server side. You see, C, C++, Java, PHP, and Python used a lot by the top websites. But you see also there's one more programming language that's used by the top website, but we heard very little about. It's Golang. So Polly just felt the need to fill in the gap here for herself, as well as if it interests you. Okay, Golang is a language that's used by many of the top websites' server implementation already. Okay, not to mention this, if you are more, looking forward to join the society as a functional adult and as a gainfully employed adult, look at this. This is years of professional programming experience versus median salary in US dollars. Okay, so this is the regression of all the programmers' salary. So if you fall into this blue line, then it's relatively fair. So usually if you have more experience, you do get paid more. Okay, but you see, these guys, they might have more years of experience, but don't necessarily get paid more for their experience. Okay, and these guys, however, don't need that many years of experience, but get paid more. Don't you just want to know what programming languages they're using? Definitely. Now, some of these know Python. Okay, probably because of the data science, probably because it's one of the popular programming languages for data science people. Okay, but you see, go right here. Very, very well paid. It's actually, probably the second or third best paid. And yet, it does not require you have many, many years of experience. If you have just about 8 years of experience, you get paid at this level annually. Cool, isn't it? Yeah, I think that justifies also why you want to learn Golang. And there's one more bias from Poly, open source. Golang, it's a programming language that's entirely open source, which means these programmers, these developers can try to contribute their code to make Golang a lot more easier to program as well, a lot more easy to develop as well. And these people are also programmers. They will know exactly the need of programmers, okay, when they are developing complex software systems. So this is the last slide of the first part, okay, philosophy, sort of pre-admin communications. So these two-dimensional codes will take you to, on the left, this is the course webpage. And this barcode, the two-dimensional code take you to Poly's YouTube channel. So I'm actually uploading all the videos there because I have a better control there. And this is the link take you to the course's Slack workspace. Okay, so this will be the first time you use Slack, I guess, for most of you. In case so, you need to download Slack, install it, and then use a email address, I think, to log into our workspace. Okay, so let's take a break now. Well, actually, no, that's it. Now the class admin. First thing first, the most important information to communicate, the course webpage. So this is the same two-dimensional code you see earlier. Okay. In fact, if you go to the course page, you will see also links that takes you to the Slack workspace, as well as pointing you to the lecture videos. Okay, so make sure that you get this URL. There's an alternative way to get access to it. Just, Google Poly Huang. Click the teaching link from Poly's webpage, and then click the Spring 2021 edition. That will take you also to the course page. Now, administrative information. Real quick, the lecture room is EE2. So EE building number 2 and lecture room 101, as well as YouTube. So the lecturing times are Tuesday from 1:20 to 3:10. Okay, there's a break in between. So please allow Polly to take the break. Most of the time, yeah, there will be call of natures that Polly needs to address. And then Thursday, just 15 minutes from 1:20 to 2:10. I'm Polly. My office is in another building called the Barry Lam Hall. That's EE Department's building number 3. Okay, and my office is upstairs, 6th floor. So take an elevator, walk around the hall. You should be able to track down 613. Okay. Polly's office phone number is this, and the best way to reach Polly is just send email. Okay. Polly has a homepage herself as well, but most of the information you find there is boring. Okay. Office hour. The office hour is Thursday following the lecture from 2:20 to 3:10. Okay. If this is not a good time for you, feel free to send Polly email and set up an appointment. Okay. Or try to find Polly on Slack or post questions there on Slack. And by the way, on Slack, chances high that Polly did not see the question in real time. But guys, if you see people asking questions, ignore my doorbell. If you see people posting questions that you know the answer of, feel free to provide answers. Okay? Try to be a good peer, a good, in place of the instructor. Okay, Polly is just another peer. All right? So, through Slack, Google Meet, or in person, either will be fine. So, in person is coming to the office. Google Meet, yeah, so in case you feel like having a conversation with Polly, Polly can also set up a Google Meet so that you get to see Polly and we can kind of talk face to face, virtually. TA is Caleb Wang. He said that he's going to be here in the lecture room. Let's see if he's here. If you're here, could you stand up, Caleb? Yeah, okay. Caleb's office is, I think, mostly in also Barry Lam Hall, room 621. And best way to reach him, I think it's also through email. Caleb should also be on Slack workspace, so in case you want to find him and having a more private communication with him, just like you sometimes want to talk to me, feel free to set things up also with Caleb in case you really need to speak with him. All right. Now the content, the technical stuff you'll be learning throughout the semester. I'll start from the objective, so what I was looking forward to teaching, and the scope. Okay, so internet is huge. Unfortunately, we don't have the time to cover all the technical components composing the internet, so it's going to be a little bit limited. And then I'm going to walk through the schedule throughout the semester, which serves also as a syllabus. First thing first, this is going to be your first course on the technical side of the internet. Okay, we all know internet. Okay, we all have been using internet. It's just that, hey, we don't know, we don't quite know exactly, right, how these data gets passed around through this, internet seemingly invisible. Okay, it's buried somewhere, and get the stuff out to the places I was hoping the data will go to. I was hoping the email will go to. Okay, so we'll learn all these mechanisms enabling these data traversing the world seamlessly. Okay, now I'm assuming that I'm teaching EECS students, which means you guys should have courses such as Introduction to Computer Programming, as well as your first course introducing you to computers, where there's some hardware components important, they're connected, and then there's operating system allowing interaction between these components, and then there'll be programs running on top of these operating systems, okay, and manipulating the hardwares, particularly, for example, the network interface card, so that the data can go out from one computer and reaching the other end to another computer. And yeah, in case you worry about the goal and assignment, if you have taken courses in data structure and slightly more advanced computer programming, it would definitely help. So this is a course that's preferred but not necessary. Objectives. So we do need to learn about the technical components of the internet, okay? And you will be introduced that there are quite a few of them, okay? So you will know what they are. But we'll also be getting into the details of all these technical mechanisms, okay, and find out how they work. Okay. You will be also introduced a lot of times to address a problem inside the internet. There are multiple solutions, okay, and internet chooses one among these multiple solutions. And why the choice? So you see that I tried to make the scope a little bit narrow, but I want to go a little bit deeper, okay, talking about each of these key components, okay, that's necessary to get these data passing around the internet. All right, so yeah, the scope is the internet, all right, but we'll cover the application layer, transport layer, network layer, but we won't have time to get into the link layer or mobile wireless networking, multimedia networking. In fact, okay, so what I want to say is that these courses, you can find easy more advanced courses that focus on talking about the link layer or mobile wireless communication, as well as multimedia networks, okay. Another thing I want to say when I say in fact is also that I'm also designing Introduction to Computer Network 2, so that I can teach the rest of the protocol stacks that's making the internet working, okay? Because multimedia, mobile wireless, this concern our everyday life. They're just so essential, not just the basic protocol layers, okay? I'm pretty sure that you probably want to know also more about mobile wireless network as well as these multimedia applications. Okay, so my attempt is to design Introduction to Computer Network 2. It's kind of a follow-up course of this one. So we'll see. Now, the schedule of the course. So I'm going to talk about the entire semester in 4 quarters. So one semester divided into 4 parts. First quarter, 4 weeks. Okay, you see that week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. Week 1, for example, today will be mainly the preparation, mentally, and preparation in terms of network means, what you need to fulfill in order to earn credits for the course by the end of the semester. And then starting Thursday, we'll begin by giving you an overview of the internet. And that overview chapter, it's going to take a little bit more time, spending about 2 weeks, okay? And by the end of week number 2, PA number 1 will be due. By the end of week number 3, PA 2 is due, okay? And towards the end of week number 3, we'll start teaching the first layer, the application layer. This is the layer at the top, okay, of the protocol stacks, okay, operating the internet. And not long, okay, so we'll be talking about application layer for about 2 lectures, and then starting our exams, exam number 1. So in exam number 1, the scope covers will include from, the first of overview all the way to the second lecture of application layer. And you'll see in the second quarter, it's a little bit similar, okay? Week 5, week 6, 7, and 8, 4 weeks. End of week 5, PA3 is due. And to make sure that you guys get the point of the exam questions, there's going to be a review session in the second lecture of week 5, okay? And then this will go on. Yeah, I don't know. You might like it, but for the instructor, this is always not so good. It's a break, and it's actually spring break, a long break, meaning that we're gonna miss like 2 lectures. That's 3 hours of lecturing, 150 minutes of lecturing. That's why I said that it's actually hard to teach a good amount of technical content with all these breaks. And we are also shortening the semester as well in terms of the lecturing content. So application is gonna go 1, 2, 3 more lectures, and we'll wrap it up. By the end of week 7, PA4 is due. And then end of week 8, the second exam comes. Second exam, the scope is very small, only 3 application layer lecture and then the transport layer lecture. Okay. Similarly, in the third quarter, end of week 9, we'll review exam number 2. Okay. PA 5, 6, 7 will be doing correspondingly in week 9, week 10, and week 11. And by the end of week 12, exam 3 comes. Okay. You see also the transport layer in that chapter will spend quite a bit of time, because in that chapter we'll talk about a very important protocol called TCP. Okay, pretty much everything we're sending now is through TCP. Okay, and then we enter the network layer. Okay, so network layer is actually divided into 2 parts: network layer data plane. And in exam 3, we'll be testing you. I'll be testing you transport layer mostly, and then the overview of the network layer. And then in the fourth quarter, okay, then we'll be going through all the data plane of network layer and then the control plane of the network layer. So this is the second part. Data plane ends here. PAA ends dues week 13, and PA9 dues week 14. And there'll be 1 week, okay, of breathing time. So week 15 is open for you to, get a little bit relaxed, and then we do exam number 4, which covers this part of the lecture. Okay, so you see that the design of the lectures this semester is a little bit different. Oh, by the way, we don't have week 17, 18 of lectures. Instead, for all these PAs that you'll be working on, what you are asked to do is just simply watch the video Poly has provided saying PA1 series. In those videos, Poly actually walks you through what you need to do in detail. Okay, it should be fine. Okay, taking most of you through and complete the PAs. In case you still have trouble doing any of the PAs, definitely ping the TA as well as Poly and see if we could help. Okay, some of these trouble could be because of the operating systems that we're using. Okay, could be because of the system settings we're using. It can be easily resolved if you just change the settings slightly. Okay, and now very key information about this course. Okay, what you need to do to fulfill the course requirement and earn the credits. So let's go over the homework assignments you're expected to turn in, and the quiz class participations, how they're going to be counted towards your semester grade, and the exams. So homework, interaction, or I call participation as well, and exams. Each of them going to weigh some amount of percentage towards the semester grade. Programming assignments, so you've seen that there are 9 of them. Okay, so 9 of them. Altogether will count towards 35 points to the semester grade. PA1, because it's really light, it will weigh a little less, only 3 points. And from PA2 to PA9, 4 points each. Interaction includes pop-up quiz that happens in the middle of the lecture. If we couldn't finish everything, if you just submit your solutions on Slack workspace, that also counts. And in the end, it would count towards 20 points to the semester grade. And how we give these 20 points is based on how many quizzes you complete, okay, among all the quizzes given. If you complete all the quizzes, if the solutions are accepted, then you get 20 points for the semester. If you miss one out of, for example, 34, then you miss 34th of the 20 points. Okay. Participation. This is actually the part of the grade that Poly is giving a little bit more freely. What Poly will be doing is to record whenever you speak. That is also a way that Poly tracks who you are. Poly doesn't have that good a memory, but in the meantime, she wants to be able to memorize you all. So Poly will be asking constantly, what's your name? Okay, and gradually, if you find in the end that Poly remembers you, then you are successful here. Okay, but hopefully that you continue to speak up, okay, throughout the semester, because Poly's judgment might be a little bit biased. Poly would also be using the record there, okay, and counting the frequency of you speaking up as a base for the participation grade. And it's actually okay to just say hi, okay, how are you, okay. I find this homework a little bit challenging, but I managed to do it. I'm happy about it. So those greetings, expression of how you like things, how you don't like things will all count, okay. Exams, there are 4 of them. You see already in the schedule, each 10 points. And these are the times they're going to happen. Don't miss the exam sessions because they are very important. Each of them 10 points. Now, team versus individual. Okay. Now, some of you are a little bit more loners and some of you are more social. You'll see that even though you are social, only 35 points of the semester grade are results of teamwork. Poly will still need to see also individual efforts from you, okay, in terms of participation as well as exams. So for the exams, you guys don't work in a group, okay. And so as mentioned, loners allowed. So the team can be a 1-person team, 2-person team, but up to 3-person, okay, not more, please. And the same members, you guys will be working throughout the semester for the programming assignment as well as the pop-up quizzes. Okay. Oh, by the way, it has happened before, okay, but not very frequent though. In case the dynamic is not going well, okay, within a team, it's okay. You guys can break up. So one team can break up into 2, all right? But try to be cautious of your decision as well, because then you'll be also potentially working alone, okay? The load is not going to be lighter, just so that you know. But you see also a little bit the tricky part of working in a team. A lot of times when you guys want to break up, it's more like, the sense of, hey, that's not fair. Similarly, people get angry more, not because they are allocated less resource. Most of the time, people are angry because they are treated differently. Okay, a lot of these breakups I observed previously is because the teammates felt that it's not fair anymore. Okay. So those who then try to break up from a team. But you see, breaking up hurts both sides, I have to say. That suggests also that you might want to talk to people a little bit more before deciding whether you guys form a team. Okay. By the end of the semester, you might also learn that sometimes no pain, no gain. You think about it. You think about it. Losing a friend, or wait until this friend, okay, come around and discover that he owes you something. I think the later is still a little bit better. Okay, think about it. So it's not technical, but this is equally important that you learn in college. Now, homework assignment. Relative to teamwork, homework assignment, I have to say that to at least poly is easier. There are 9 of them. The first one is about getting on a Unix system and checking things out and making sure that you can operate in a Unix system. The rest of it is to use Golang as a programming language to write socket program, meaning you can transmit data between 2 programs that can sit on 2 different machines. So meaning transmitting data remotely. All of these will be submitted in electronic format. The detailed instruction is given in the homework assignment description, and you would also see the description also in the walkthrough videos Poly has provided. So the programming assignments will be in 2 stages. First stage is mainly to do a socket program using TCP socket. So on the internet, TCP is very important. Most of the communication is done through TCP, and therefore between 2 programs we create a TCP socket to establish such a TCP connection, and so we send data. But there could be other types of sockets that we create, okay, to send data that's of a different nature. Okay, you will learn more also as we are in the transport layer chapter. So this stage is first for you to get used to Unix and being able to operate on a Unix system. And then these 5. First, I ask you to use Golang and access files. So read from a file, write into a file. Okay, so file is an I/O, an input-output service, because reading is output, writing to a file is input. And then we'll begin by writing first a file upload client. Okay, so using the web, you can actually download file and upload files as well, right? So part of the World Wide Web, a very important functionality is to upload or download files. So you'll be writing your own file upload client. So the client side, so user side to upload the file. In PA4 is actually the hardest assignment. You try to write a server for the file upload service. Okay, and then you try to extend the upload server so that it can work non-stop. Okay, the point of calling a program a server is such that it's running 24/7 non-stop. Whoever asking for service, the server will be there to answer and provide service. PA6 is to make the server appearing that it's working concurrently, serving multiple file upload requests. Okay, so this is one upload, and this allows multiple uploads. This allows parallel multiple uploads. Then this one here, after you're done with PA4, you can claim that you have finished writing a professional file upload server. Okay. The second stage is to write a web server, but this is to exploit existing APIs in Golang. And the end goal for PA7 is to write a web request interpreter. So if a web server is essentially, they're interpreting web requests coming in. So first is to understand what the request has to say, what the request is, okay? And your web server there will need to generate the response and then generate and send it back to the web client. So in this part, through PA7, PA8, and PA9, PA9 is essentially making the server secure. You will be testing your web server using a regular browser, such as Firefox, such as Chrome, such as Safari. Okay. Now for this part, for this stage, you will need more self-help and creativity. Okay. Chances high that you need to Google, and you find yourself going into places like Stack Overflow, where a lot of programmers, developers exchange experiences there. Okay. And then the in-class quizzes. There'll be random quizzes. These are problems that Poly has created, and so that it's a little bit more fun, interesting, to avoid you from being distracted to other things more interesting happening around you. So quizzes related to the topic of the week, okay, and you'll be given time to work in the class. Okay, so you need to try to find your team and start brainstorming and talking to each other, and then working on solving the problem and checking with each other whether you are right. Okay. And Poly is going to announce, provided the time, and say, all right, time up. Let's see what you guys have come up with. And you guys can volunteer yourself, try to speak in the class, or try to type your answer, or try to upload a photo of your solution, okay, or derivation towards the solution onto Slack. Or post by typing things up on YouTube live chat, okay. Post on this or channel, okay. One channel per week. Oh yeah, so on Slack you will see that I created one channel, okay, specifically for the purpose of collecting your solutions for these quizzes, and there'll be one channel each week, so that it's a little bit easier for you to try to submit solutions each week. To fulfill this requirement, solve it in the class, okay? Poly will just take note and say you're done. Then you don't have to submit you don't need to upload things in addition to Slack, okay? Or post your solutions on Slack by Saturday that week, 6 p.m. The first and unique sharing will also get some extra participation points. So these are not quiz points. Once you're done submitting your solution, which is accepted, then you get the quiz points. But for those who come and wishing to speak first, earlier, or sharing something that's unique, you also get extra participation points. And those who speak on behalf of the team also gets the participation points, you see. So this is allowing individuals in the team also to, make yourself more noticeable by Poly. And it's graded on the completion rate. So the quiz part graded on completion rate. Participation part is something else, if you recall. Okay. Wait. Late assignment penalty. Okay. So occasionally students forget about the time and therefore need to submit late. It's okay. It's not a shame. No. Okay. So for quiz solutions, for programming assignments, if you submit late, if it's within an hour past the due time, you are only deducted 10 points. If it's within 6 hours past the submission time, you still get 80 points of the grade. Okay, don't give up yet. 12 hours, you get 60. 24 hours, you still get 20%. Okay, but after 1 day, hey, that's too far off. Then you don't get anything. Okay, meaning that it's okay to be late, but to be fair, there'll be some points deducted okay? So that those who submitted on time, right, won't feel that they are, being treated unequally. Class participation, every interaction counts, okay? But Poly will try to weigh more to more substantial contributions. For example, if you ask a question that is so good that, get all of us into thinking, okay? Try challenge Poly so that you get Poly into thinking. Oh, by the way, remember to identify yourself, okay? This is especially the case for students who prefer to attend physically. Interactions could include those happening in class, online, on Slack, or if you are a little bit more shy, send me emails. That's also okay. Okay, and that includes interaction with TA and Poly. All right. Yeah, if you do likes and greetings, as I mentioned, they all count. All right, just a little bit less. Technical contribution, if you answer questions, yeah, that's counted more. Okay. And this is graded on curve, okay, but Poly will also try to slide because some of the students are very, very active. I will try to bound the maximum to some degree. Okay. Finally, the exams. This one is a little bit more straightforward. Each exam, 10 points. They are all going to be in Google form. When you are taking the exam remotely, make sure that you zoom into the Google Meet session and have a camera taking, your headshot, frontal, hopefully including that you're writing, but at least your face. Okay. There will be all in Q&A form. There are all exams available from the class page, so look them up. The style will be similar. Okay, and there will not be any early makeup exams. Integrity. If there's any cheating behavior, you receive 0 for the grade, and the case will also be reported to the department and then to the university, depending on the department's decision. And here I cannot be nice either, because it's not gonna be nice to other students, you see. It's not that Poly doesn't want to be nice. Well, a lot of times, right, your nature determines whether you are kind or nice. Okay, I cannot change who I am, but I have to be fair. Okay, playing the role of the instructor. Poly cannot be nice. Okay, if I'm nice, then I'll be also not nice. I'll be contradicting myself. I just cannot live with that. Can you? Now, last part is easy, the class material. Textbook is gonna be the usual suspect, Computer Networking, a top-down approach, the 7th edition. Guys, the 8th edition, the English version, is actually available, but it was just out. I'm not quite sure the domestic publishers have already imported the 8th edition yet. So for this semester, we are sticking to the 7th edition. And if you need a book for Golang, the programming language, I find this a really nice entry-level reading provided by Caleb Doxy. It's also openly available. Very convenient. Additionally, lecture slides in PDF format, lecture videos on YouTube, and everything else on Slack. Okay. URL available from the course pages. So YouTube, Slack, URLs available from the course page. So are the PDF sites. And again, the course page. Okay, take this 2-dimensional barcode. All right, so that's pretty much the main content. All right.